We've been looking forward to it. As I can see, there are so many people not having seats. I hope you can make some space so that everybody can fit in. Kuchh bhi ho sakta hai. This phrase truly epitomizes the personality we have with us tonight. A towering presence in the world of theater and films, Mr. Anupam Kher. Before we welcome him on stage, he will be in conversation with Mr. Ashok Chopra, and we welcome them on stage. Please have a big hand. Anupam Kher will be in conversation with Ashok Chopra, author and publisher, who has occupied some of the hottest seats in the Indian book trade, executive editor of Vikas Publishing House, vice president of Macmillan India, publishing director of UBS Publishers, executive director and publisher of the India Today Book Club and Books Today, as well as chief executive and publisher of HarperCollins Publishers India. Currently, he is the chief executive of Hay House Publishers India. He lives in Gurgaon near Delhi. He is the author of the bestseller A Scrapbook of Memories, and his latest book, Of Love and Other Sorrows, has just been published by Penguin India. Let us begin.
First of all of you out here, welcome. Without you, we would not have been here. Anupam, thank you very much for making it, because I know that he's been very busy shooting 37 days consecutively in Australia. He came, he rushed to Delhi where he performed yesterday his play, and in the morning he's come here, tomorrow morning he leaves, and tomorrow night he flies off again for his next shooting. Thank you very much. PILF is honored. And all this despite an injured knee. Anupam, I'm actually, when I saw you today in the hotel where I was waiting for you to come, I couldn't recognize you.
I have a center parting today.
Center Because this is the first time I'm meeting you after a few months, and you've lost a lot of weight, 14 years. 14 years younger now.
Yes.
How did you manage that?
First of all, Pune is one of my favorite cities, so I did not do any favor to... in my drama school days, in 75 to 78, when I was in drama school, in National School of Drama, the last 6 months were supposed to be as part of Film Institute. So I spent 6 months in 78 over here, and those were the best 6 months of my training period. So I had a great time over here. Every time I come here, I love the people. I think people of a city make the city, and I think people of Pune are wonderful people. And I don't say it in every city, so this is not a... so I am very, very sure of what I... No, I think, Ashok, first of all, it's wonderful to speak to you. I'm very comfortable talking to you. Abhi, ma'am, leave the phone now. This is last session now. This is going to be great. Don't worry. Okay, wonderful. Let's wait for you to post it on FB. I want you to listen to me. She says, I am listening, so I'm talking. So, weight loss, I always want to reinvent myself after every few years. So last year I turned 60, and I decided that what should I do something which is impossible for me. The name of this session and name of my play and the philosophy of my life is Kuchh bhi ho sakta hai. So I said, let me put the most difficult thing. Let me quit 3 things which I love the most as far as food is concerned: potatoes, rice, and sweets. It was very difficult. So actually, I did that, and then I walked and walked and walked. My father used to walk a lot, and he used to say, you don't have to do anything to lose weight. You just have to walk. And in about 8-9 months time, I discovered that I have lost 14 kilos, which makes me feel wonderful and which makes me believe more in Kuchh Bhi Ho Sakta Hai. But the most amazing thing was, this was still okay. Means people say, buzurgon ke role karte hain, Anupam ji plays an old man. You know, I played the old man when I was 28. I wanted to go back. I wanted, when I was 28, I played a 60-year-old man. And when I turned 60, I want to do an action film. That's a fact. I mean, right now you're laughing, but it will be happening soon. So I was once recently working out in the gym, and it was raining outside, so I just finished my walk, and my trainer said, why don't you take off your shirt, because you're drenched in this thing. So I was without my shirt because there was nobody else in the gym. So as I was doing those bars, he said, Kher sahab, 1 minute hold kariye. And then he clicked a picture of my back. So I said, ye kiski back hai? Because there were some muscles here and there and things like that. Very good muscles. So I sent that picture just because Salman Khan had told me, Kher sahab, aap exercise kara kariye, etc., etc. So I sent him a picture. Ki dekh, maine bahut kuch kiya. So he tweeted that picture saying, ऊपर वाला सब bodybuilders की खेर करे. And then I injured my knee. So I told my mom, who is in Toronto right now, I said, Mom, I have hurt my knee. He says, aur dikha body. So basically, I think it's always, I want to always challenge myself to see whether I can do that or not. And when you challenge yourself and you don't have the fear of failure, then you achieve things half the time. Because it's possible, kuch bhi ho sakta hai, actually.
Did Kiran recognize you after that?
I didn't recognize her also. She also has lost 20 kilos.
Yes, she has.
And Kiran and I don't meet these days because she's in Chandigarh or in Delhi, having joined the parliament. But we speak regularly, and she was not very happy with my back muscles. She said, chakkar kya hai? So, she said lots of other things which I can't say.
Okay. Anupam, I haven't come prepared with any questions or anything, so we'll just make it freewheeling because I think I didn't want you to know what I'm going to ask, and I didn't want the audience to feel that it's all prepared. That's why I've not got a single
I think that's the best part of it, because I also, when I'm coming for a session like that, I should not presume that this is what you want to hear. So for me, conversations are actually conversations. You can't pre-plan them. So I'm happy that you did not prepare, and they love me in any case. Even if this show is a disaster, don't worry, ma'am, it won't be. They in any case love me.
Well, Anupam and I have known each other for a very long time. I don't know how many years now, decades now. And I've seen his growth. So let's go back to the beginning. You know, a young, thin, Gora Chitta boy from DAV school who failed every year. And then he walks out from the Department of Indian Theatre with a gold medal. Kuchh bhi ho sakta hai. And then into the National School of Drama, then into Saransh, and rest is history. 500 films already released, 501st being shot at the moment, various awards, numerous awards, and into Hollywood, and into theatre very actively, and an author. Just in one sentence, tell them what you feel about this journey.
Oh. There's a very famous line by Osho, belongs to this city. He said, if you try, you risk failure. If you don't, you ensure it. So I just tried, and I keep trying that. Also, I'm an eternal optimist. When you are born in a poor family, when you're born in a poor means lower middle class family, My father was a clerk in the forest department. He used to earn 90 rupees per month, and we had a family of 14 people. We used to live in 1/4 of this stage, that kind of a place. There was only thing was to dream big, to dream that one day, and we never even realized that we are poor, because poor people don't realize they are poor till they see a comparative study. So everybody was from the same background, and my grandfather used to say, when you are very poor, the cheapest thing available is happiness. And that was what it was, I think. And I was very bad at studies, means I never got more than 38% marks till my graduation. Never. I never broke that record. So I had no future in studies, kind of a thing. And I was not a very great sports person. I mean, I used to be okay. In fact, at a very young age, I think in 9th standard, one of my PT teachers scarred me for my life as far as sports were concerned. He saw me running and he said, even if you run alone, you will come second. I have not been able to figure out till today how is that possible. A lot of people came with philosophies, nahi to teri parchai hai, wo first hai, tu aage piche hai, etc., kind of a thing. So I grew up in an atmosphere of positive people, optimistic people. I never saw misery in that family. Everybody was comical. There was my family was comical. We used to live Taya ji, Bua ji, uncle, aunt, bacche, unke sab, we used to all live together. So I used to see them through a comic book eye. One of my uncle had lost his one eye in some bimari, and he used to wear dark glasses which were for James Bond movies, kind of a thing. So I used to call him Bond uncle. Another uncle had failed in 8th standard 7 times. I'm not joking. So much so that his own class fellows started calling him uncle because he grew beard and mustache and everything. So I think I used to dream a lot. I used to say that someday I will be somebody, because I have to be. In Simla, there used to be 4 cinema halls. So every Friday I will go and watch a movie. And then one day, after my graduation, I went and ran away to do an audition in Chandigarh. I stole 100 rupees from my mother's temple. Did not tell my parents that I am going for an audition to Chandigarh. I went in the morning, came back in the evening. There was a total pandemonium in my house because somebody had stolen 100 rupees from my mother's temple. The police had come, etc., etc. Those days, 100 rupees was major. And that also, poor mother of mine, she must have collected 5 rupees and 75 paisa, etc., etc. So she said, did you take the money? I said, no, I had gone for picnic to some place. So after 2 weeks, my father came and asked me that, where did you go on that particular day when you said you had gone for picnic? So I said, oh my God, I've got caught now. So I said, I went to Chandigarh, because he was in a posture which I knew that I can't lie to him. So he said, why? I said, because I don't want to be clerk in the forest department. So I went to give my audition to be an actor. So my mother said, where did you get the money from? So this was a difficult truth. So I said, I stole from your temple. She gave me one tight slap. So my father walked towards me. I thought another slap coming. So I said, okay, I will not become an actor. I will be happy becoming a clerk in the forest department. He said, shut up. You have been selected in this institute. My mother said, my 100 rupees. Said, you also shut up. He's getting 200 rupees as stipend. He will give you 100 rupees out of that. So you can clap. It's okay. Some of you felt it. Don't stop yourself from feeling what you want to do that. Don't get embarrassed. I will be very happy. Okay? Once again. So that's how I met Ashok in 1974-75 when I was doing my drama school first training. I did not know that there were books existed about cinema, about acting. I thought acting kya hoti hai? To dialogue bole. I was my university's best actor. So our teacher, Mr. Balwant Gargi, first day told me, "Aapko actor kisne bana diya? You don't know how to act." So I got very disturbed. He said, "Go and visit the library." And I was so fascinated by so many books on drama, Greek theatre, Roman theatre, medieval theatre, Stanislavski, books, Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams, the acting, Brando, and all those things, that I spent my whole year in those in that library, because that was fascinating. Books have played a very important role in my life. And that's how I got the gold medal. And then the National School of Drama. So if you have to ask me this whole journey, it's because I don't have fear of failure. It has something to do with an incident, which I'm sure you know about it.
Well, we like to hear that, because most of them wouldn't, and the audience wouldn't know. But attached to that question, while you answer, you're a born optimist. You're all the time even giving me lessons of optimism. But why do you all the time lecture on the great failures of your life? You go to any part, wherever you are lecturing, even in London I've seen, even in Oxford I've seen, you're talking about how you glorify failure. Why that? Is that some sort of a complex, or is it purposely done, or is for effect purposes?
I feel that failure is multifaceted, and I am a sum total of my failures. I think success is one-dimensional and very boring. Means my father used to say, thanks to the family that I lived in, my father used to say, you know, first जो आता है उसको पूरी जिंदगी यही टेंशन रहता है, मुझे हर साल फर्स्ट आना है. He has this tension that he has to come first in if he comes first in a race. But the person who comes 58th can always come 47th, 36th, 24th, 18th, 12th. I feel our problem is that we have an imaginary fear of failure. Fear is imaginary. And failure is an event, never a person. It's an event. Event fails. I don't have any, and we are scared of failure because we don't want to feel small in front of people. But if you talk about your shortcomings, if you talk about your failures, then people have nothing to frighten you with. Means if I say that I'm bald, my left leg is bigger than my right leg, and my shoulder is like this, and I went bankrupt about 10 years back, and I used to be a totala, means I could not say the word k, then you cannot frighten me with anything, because I have myself said it to you. People frighten you with the feeling that what you are hiding. So my lectures are always power of failure, and it has something to do with one incident which happened when I was in 10th standard in Shimla. I always share that with the audiences because that clarifies why I think like that. So there are two parts of this story. In Shimla, there was a very famous restaurant there still is, called Alpha Restaurant. Now, Alpha Restaurant was something not within our reach. It was a very high class kind of a thing. And once in 6 months, out of those 14 people who used to live in the house, we four, that means me, my mother, my younger brother, and my father used to go to Alpha Restaurant once in 6 months. And for us, that day was bigger than Diwali, bigger than Christmas, bigger than New Year, Holi, everything, because we were four together for the first time for 1 or 2 hours. And we had a fixed menu, mutton samosa, pineapple pastry, and espresso coffee. And my father used to put 50 paisa as the tip. So this was the most fantastic time. So we had just gone 2 months back, and now we knew that we will be going to this Alpha Restaurant after 4 months. And I had finished my exam of 10th standard. In Shimla, when you give your exam, they used to promote you to 11th standard, and after 2 months, the result used to come. And if you failed, they will bring you back to the 10th standard, which was the most humiliating thing in the world. Means 11वीं class में आप बैठे हो, ऐश कर रहे हो, और फिर suddenly result आया, fail हो गए जी, आ जाओ वापस. So you have to make your own friends. The same, and they used to also look at you. So one day, my father knew somebody in the education board. One day my father came, I was in 11th standard, around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he said, let's bunk the school. So I said, okay, means fine. So he took permission from my teacher and he said, let's go. So then I said, everything all right? He said, yeah, chal, then why not? Every day you go to school, one day you should bunk. So he was a great father. And then he said, where would you like to go? So I, in my mind, thought that I can't say Alpha because we have to go there after 4 months. We've just gone 2 months back. So I said, Nathu Sweets. He said, would you like to go to Alpha? I said, yeah, of course. Sure. Now in my mind, I thought he will not order all the 3 things. He will order just one of the things because it was also end of the month and things like that. But he ordered mutton samosa, pineapple pastry and espresso for himself and for me. So I asked him, I said, you have got a promotion or you got a lottery or something? Why? He said, nee, khao. So I ate, finished eating. He also finished and he was chatting with me. And then when the bill came, instead of 50 paisa, he put 1 rupee as a tip. So I said, something is going wrong somewhere. I said, Dad, what is it? He said, I went to the education board and I found out you have failed in 10th standard. I said, so why are you doing this? He said, I want to celebrate your failure. So that ever in your life, if you ever fail, you can remember that you can always have pineapple pastry, mutton samosa and coffee. So when a father takes away the fear of a 16-year-old boy, of fear of failure, then you have nothing to worry about, na? Means what else? In fact, in the film Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, this sequence was put because I had narrated this to Yash ji. So then Shah Rukh Khan ke saath jo mera sequence tha. And all the people jinke photographs I introduced, ye tere chacha ji hain, ye tere taja, I took the names of my actual uncles. So I thought when the film was releasing, I said, oh my God, all my uncles are going to get very upset because I'm saying he failed in 10th standard, he failed, he's never passed, he's never done this. So I very sheepishly wrote to them before the film is releasing that please don't mind, it's comedy. So everybody wrote back to me, thank you very much, you have made us very famous. So when you are living in a family which is of cuckoo people, then you don't have to worry about anything. So yeah, so that is the way I think it should be. That you should feel failure is the best thing that can happen to you. If you take it in the right spirit, that is what makes you what you are. That's why my whole play is based on my failure. It's my autobiographical play, but I don't know, I have performed that in Pune for 5-6 times. But maybe most of the students can't afford the tickets. But next time I'll do it for you free. You should see that play. So that's it.
Anupam, I remember there was something your grandfather had taught you also. He wrote to you, in fact, a line when you were down and out in Lucknow, it was?
No. I was in movies. I had done about 15 years of movies.
Okay. And then you
No, sorry, before that, yes.
Before that,
yes.
This was when you were very depressed and,
yes.
and he wrote that one line to you which impacted your entire life after
yes.
that. Can you tell us something about that?
In fact, the book is dedicated to my grandfather, and that is the scholarship that I wanted to give you the debut writer, Pandit Amarnath. I had finished my drama school training, then I went to Lucknow to teach in a drama department. And I was a lecturer. I was the youngest lecturer. I was 23, 22 years old, and I was a kind of a professor type of a thing, lecturer. I used to feel very important in Lucknow. So I stayed there for 1.5 years. And then I saw an ad in a newspaper, Screen newspaper, which is a film-related newspaper, that they are opening an acting school in Mumbai, and they are looking for teachers there. And so I wrote to them, and they said to me that you are, yes, most welcome. We'll pay you 5,000 rupees per month, and we'll give you a place to stay. So I packed my luggage without finding out more details about this acting school, and I reached Mumbai on the 3rd June 1981, thinking that this gentleman who has given the ad will come and pick me up, and there was nobody to pick me up. And then I discovered that that was a fake place. There was no school, there was no money, and there was no place. And I was horrified. Then I called up a friend of mine who was from Mumbai, Suhas Khandke. I said, look, I have come here. He said, tu bada bevkoof aadmi hai, aise kaise aa gaya? I said, okay, can I stay in your house for 10 days? So after that, I used to write letters to my grandfather, he used to write back to me, etc. So there was a time when I lived on a railway platform in Bandra East for about 27 days. I had no place to stay. I had exhausted my money, friends, and I was very humiliated because, so I wrote to my grandfather that, look, this is ridiculous. Means I am feeling humiliated on two levels. One, that I'm a professional actor. I've done 3 years of training, 1 year of training before that. I'm a gold medalist. What am I doing in this city? This city does not deserve me. I don't want to go through this humiliation. It's just too undignified a life, because 4 o'clock the man will wake me up because the trains will start, 1 o'clock I will sleep. So I was going through a very, very bad phase. And then I said, I want to go back. I will go back to Simla or to Lucknow. I will become a teacher somewhere else. I don't want to live in Mumbai. So he wrote a letter to me in which he said, look, your parents have really worked very hard for you. They've almost sold their things to make you reach where you reached. And you have done training. You've almost stayed there for 1 year. Stay back. And remember, this was the line, भीगा हुआ आदमी बारिश से नहीं डरता. And that changed my whole life. कि भीगा हुआ आदमी बारिश से नहीं डरता. He was so right that a man drenched is not scared of rains. And again, then I stayed back, and not many people know that after I was cast in Saransh, we were supposed to start the shooting on the 1st of January 1984. On the 20th of December 1983, a friend of mine, same Swahas Khandke, Masiha of bad news. So he came to me, he said, look, I have heard a rumor in Rajshri Production, which were the producers. I said, what is the rumor? He said, I have heard that you are not doing the main role. I said, what are you talking? We have been rehearsing for 6 months. I am doing that. He said, no, I have heard that Sanjeev Kumar is doing that. They have replaced you. So I called up Mr. Bhatt from one shop, and he was very casual about it. He said, yeah, you know, the production people don't want to hire a new actor, so they have taken Sanjeev Kumar. And in fact, there is another old man's role, you do that, I'll work on that, and don't worry, etc. And bye. Oh my God, I said, this is ridiculous. If he can do that, then anybody can do that. So again, I packed my whole luggage, and I said, I don't want to live in this city now. So while I was going to VT station, I thought that now I have nothing to fear again. Now I can tell Mahesh Bhatt what I think of him actually, because now I don't need him. Another thing my grandfather used to say, that if you want to be equal with anybody, just don't expect anything from that person. If I don't expect anything from that person, then we are equal, na? Even if it is anybody. कि मुझे आपसे कुछ नहीं चाहिए, अब हम बराबर के हैं. अब मुझे महेश भट्ट से कुछ नहीं चाहिए था, अब तो मैं बराबर का था. So I told the taxi guy, I said, take me to Green Acres, that's where he used to live. On the 6th floor, lift was not working that day, so I had to climb. They said that when you are angry, you get a lot of energy. So I walked up, and he was saying, oh, fantastic, that's the sportsman spirit. That is very good that you've agreed to do the other old man's role. And you see, you are from the theatre, and Hari Bhai, Sanjeev Kumar is from theatre, and you will create magic, and I will work on it. Okay, don't worry. So I said, Bhatt Sahab, hold on. I took him to the window and I showed him the taxi and my luggage. I said, I'm leaving this place. But before I leave, I want to tell you, you are the biggest fraud on this earth. You are the biggest cheat on this earth. I said, you are making a film about truth. And you are not truthful. How can you make a film about truth? So, I was actually crying and frustrated and desperate. And I was angry. This is a cool way of narrating this story, but I was messed up in my mind. And I said to him, out of frustration, I said, and I'm a Brahmin, I give you a shrap. तो मैंने डरा दिया, और उनको मैं टैक्सी में बैठने लगा तो ऊपर से चिल्लाया, ऊपर आ जा, कम अप. I said, no. जैसे टेलीविजन सीरीज में कुछ अंगारे निकलते ना ऐसे, तो मुझे लगा कुछ ऐसे ही निकल रहा है. तो इसे आजा. तो मैंने कहा क्यों? कहता तू ही कर रहा है वो रोल. तो टैक्सी वाले का भाड़ा मैंने कहा भट्ट साहब से ले लो ऊपर जाके. So if I had not gone and fought that day, I would have not been sitting here. So you have to sometimes fight for what you think, and when you don't have anything to lose.
Well, Saransh's history, and we all know about it, so I won't go into that. And after Saransh, you got a lot of other offers. And I remember you're getting one offer where they asked you to, I think it was Ramesh Behel, who asked you to choose any role.
Yeah.
So I find that very, very funny of Ramesh Behel. So can you just briefly
You
tell
see,
us?
I had no qualms. I had grown up watching Rajendra Kumar, Dharmender, Asha Parekh, Sharmila Tagore, Maushmi Chatterjee. So I was not one of those actors who said that I will only do a certain kind of cinema. I never took myself so seriously. Before me, millions of actors have come, we don't remember them. We don't even remember them on their birth anniversary or their death anniversary. I'm one of the actors. For me, journey is much more important than destination. I love my journey. Absolutely. So when I did Saransh was a very intellectual, fierce man's role, and it got me everything. I was very frustrated that nobody recognized me. Because actor banta kis liye hai? Ki log mujhe pehchane, autograph lein. So I used to stand outside because I was 28 and I had played this old man. You saw the visuals. So I will go and stand outside the cinema hall after the film getting over, and I'm waiting for people to say, this was the guy, and people will just pass by. And somebody will even look at me and I'll say, it was me. And one day finally a lady came and she said, oh, you did that role. I said, yeah, of course. She said, autograph. So I was looking at her and I was signing. She said, you have mastered the autograph very fast. I said, no, I've been practicing for the last 15 years. So after that, suddenly life was taken over by somebody who said, I'm your secretary. Somebody said, I'm your chartered accountant. Somebody said, I am your spot boy. They just came from somewhere and took over my life. So this, my secretary, Mr. Ashok Punjabi, was a typical Hindi film secretary. White clothes, white shoes, pan and things like that. But he was a nice guy. He was my secretary for 6 years. He said, "Aapki life banata hu." I said, okay. I thought my life was made after Saransh. He said, nahi, abhi to kuch nahi hua. Ab dekhiye. But you have to shut up in the meeting and I will be having my foot on your foot under the table. When I press it, that means you should stop talking. So I found it very comical. So we went to Mr. Ramesh Behel's house. Now Goldie Behel is his son. At that time, Ramesh Behel was the film. He had made Kasme Waade and with Mr. Bachchan, lot of movies. Indrajalam or something like that. So Mr. Behel was sitting on the other side of the table and I was sitting on this side, and Mr. Ashok Punjabi was on my foot. So I said, already? It was very funny. Can you imagine somebody putting a foot? And he was trying to be casual, having a palm. And he had this habit of moving his legs. So his foot was constantly moving on my foot. So you can imagine what the situation was. When there's a foot going on, on my life. So Mr. Ramesh Behel said there are two roles. One is opposite Sharmila Tagore and one is opposite Maushmi Chatterjee. Which one do you want to do? So in my mind going on, who do I like more? Sharmila Tagore and Maushmi Chatterjee. I said, I will do Sharmila Tagore's role. He said, no, she's doing it herself. So he narrated me the script. I was not listening to it because this man's foot was on my thing and going and so I was getting distracted with that. Disgusting it was. I still remember that. So once I thought he finished the reading and then he said, Paise? So I was about to say, for Saransh, the whole film I had got 10,000 rupees. That's it. But to me that is more than 10 crores of rupees. So 10,000 rupees in today's time is about how much? $80? Little more than that. Sorry, $120. So 10,000 rupees मुझे पूरी film के लिए मिले थे. So I thought at least in this film I'll get 15,000 rupees because I have improved now. So he said, how much money? So I was about to say, suddenly the foot went. So I just kept quiet. He said, So Ashok Punjabi did this. Now the sign language is going on. So I'm thinking, what an idiot. He's asking for 10,000 rupees again. So I looked at him again. Tuck. To this, Ramesh Bahal's reaction was, "Kya baat kar rahe ho? Kyun bhai? Why? This?" So there was this strange language going on which I had no idea. So he said, "Okay, signing amount de do." So suddenly an assistant came with an envelope with some money in it. And he said, Ashok Punjabi said, "Now you take this, you go away, I will discuss the rest of the thing with him." So I picked up. It was a little heavy. I said, ₹1 note honge. Because thinking तो वैसी है ना, thinking को शिमला वाली है फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट के क्लर्क की बेटे की, उसका थोड़ा बदल हो सकता है. My address was 4x4. Before that, sorry, when I went to this, when I reached Bombay, finally after Swaz Khandke's house, they finally found a place for me. It was, my landlady was a dhoban, was a washerwoman. It was, I used to live in with 5 more boys in a small house, in a small room, and she used to live with her kids with 3 kids in a kitchen. But my address was fantastic. Anupam Kher, 2x15, Kherwadi, Kher Nagar, Kher Road, Bandra East. So then Ashok Punjabi came to drop me till outside and he said, 10,000 rupees as your signing amount. He suddenly became Mogambo. And he said, 75,000 rupees you are getting for this film. I went berserk. I said, mere life mein, mere 100 years of my family, nobody had seen 10,000 rupees together. Here I was with 10,000 rupees in my pocket on Linking Road. I thought the whole world is looking at me and they know that I have 10,000 rupees in my pocket. And I was trying to be casual. My whole body was 10,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 10,000. And I was walking like this. So, I thought if the whole world is looking at me because they know I have 10,000 rupees. So the first person I wanted to inform was my brother, my younger brother, who was working in a tin factory. I said, I must tell my brother that I have got 10. The moment I stood outside that glass public booth, there was a bearded guy who came and stood outside. So I said, shit, I said, oh my God, this. Thank God I didn't say the other word. So, and he's doing this. He must be thinking, he must be his own issues in life. But I thought, this man is going to stab me and take my 10,000 rupees. My brother was working in a factory where there was a tin factory, so there was a khad going on in that. So I said to him, Raju, 10 mile, 10. And he said, kya 10 mile? I said, 10,000 mile, 10,000 mile. Raat ko holiday mein milna 8 baje. Me, my brother, 2 friends of mine, Pramil Khanna and Deepak Sinha, they were my roommates. We decided to blow these 10,000 rupees in Holiday Inn. So we ordered beer, tandoori chicken, chili chicken, everything we ordered. And I said, 9,000 ke kareeb bill hoga, this is a 5-star hotel, rest I will pay for. 75,000 rupees I am getting. I was very disappointed, the bill was 946 rupees. You know, I have never enjoyed those 10,000, the money ever in my life in the last 32 as I enjoyed those 10,000 rupees. And then Ashok Punjabi did make me sign 57 films in 1 week. And that was amazing because I used to, because also, carry on, somebody felt like, I could feel it. Because I had seen so much of, in the 3 years that I struggled to get a role, I did not want to stop working for 10, that's why in 32 years it's 500 films, because I just wanted to keep on working, and also because I was hungry for work, I was hungry for lots of things, and for me it was not important whether I'm only doing Mrinal Sen's film or Satyajit Ray's or Shyam Benegal. For me, equally important was other people. For me, every day getting on, then I bought my first car. The only number that I remember of my car is my first car, MAP 5068, Fiat car, blue color. I don't remember any number of any other car. So I have a Mercedes now, but I don't remember. Maybe I feel, what is this? Ye nahi chal raha, wo nahi chal raha. So, what was I saying? I suddenly started thinking, what is my Mercedes car number? But what I'm trying to say that when you don't take yourself seriously, you just keep on working. In fact, there was a joke when I did my 300 film. There was a joke with Mr. Javed Akhtar said. He said, you cannot make Hindi film without two things: film raw stock and Anupam Kher. So, which was fantastic. And every day to get up and go for work. My father was my biggest fan from the 5th standard play till the last film he saw. He will see most rubbish film of mine and say, "Kya baat hai yaar? Huh? Kya baat kiya? Kaise kiya?" And he will not see the film like this, like this. He will look at my face. Oh, huh? For him, the sun was not only SON but also SUN also. So that's why.
Let's not forget, the background, Shimla, the smaller the place, the narrower is the mentality of the people. He used to walk after that. Movie had been released. Everybody looking, Anupam ke father ja rahe. Kher sahab kaisa? Anupam kya kar raha hai? Kaise nahi? Kaun si film hai? So
that was worse. You know what he used to do? He never traveled by air. I was also 23 when I first time traveled by air. So एक बार मैंने उनको बोला कि Dad, go by air from Bombay to Delhi. He said, "Nah, I don't like it. I don't like it." He used to get nervous. So I think, and he was traveling with Mr. Gargi. So he felt, because in the sky you don't feel the speed because there's nothing passing by you. He's telling me when he landed, जहाज रुक गया था रास्ते में यार, because he could only see sky. Then he said, I don't enjoy this. I did too much, that seat belt and this and that, and a lady telling and asking in English tea, coffee and things like that. So, but he used to travel by train, and he will tell the passengers, I'm Anupam Kher's father. And they will say, okay, just calm down. To prove it to them, he will dial my number. Whether it is 3 o'clock in the morning or whether it is 1 o'clock in the night. And this was before mobiles came, landline. So I'm 2:30, who is calling up? And we had two phones. One was green in color and one was red. Red was the very private number kind of a thing, filmy thinking that we have to have two phones. Kiran used to say, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "No, I've seen in films, rich people have two phones, colored phones." So he will call up and he will say, "Bittu," that's my ghar ka name, "Baat kar." And some random voice will say, "Haan ji, kaun bol raha hai?" And I can hear my father, "Mera beta Anupam Kher hai." And this guy will say, "Hame kya pata tum Anupam Kher ho, dialogue sunao." And in the middle of the night, because I never wanted to disappoint my father, in the middle of the night I'm saying, "Rana Vish Pratap Singh, Dr. Dan creates war."
But he was a very loving father. I met him a few times.
Yeah.
And of course, in Shimla, everybody knows everyone, or at least they used to. And that's where I was also born and brought up, though I never knew him at that time. So he was a very loving father, but I must say, though he's sitting next to me, Anupam has been the most caring son that I have ever seen or ever come across. Till the last day, he would step out of the house, like मंदिर में मत्था टेकते ना कि जा रहे हैं या चीनी लेते हैं, But इनके लिए था कि father को मिल के जाऊँ मैं. He was bedridden at that stage.
Parents play a very important role in our lives. I think we take them most for granted. I think the only people that we take for granted is our parents. And my father once told me when mobiles came, it was a nightmare because mobile he never used to know how to use a mobile. So he had only put number 1 pe mera number, number 2 pe my brother's number, and number 3 per one guy who was his best friend, Mohan Lalji, something like that. So he will dial first my number. One day I did not pick up the phone. I was something. So he said, "Yaar, मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता तू phone नहीं उठाता." So I promised him that whenever he will call me up, I will pick up, and I managed to do that. Even if I am with the Prime Minister, if his call will come, I will pick up the phone. Even if I am with any film, because that's what I thought he played a very important role in my life. And this session is becoming about my father. Let's change the topic.
Okay, let's go on to something a little bit more serious, which even I want to know from you. You have acted in a lot of Hollywood films, and we saw on the screen some of them. But I've just two questions. You worked first with Woody Allen, who was directing you, and what was the experience of working with Woody Allen? And secondly, you worked with Robert De Niro. But first, before I go to Robert De Niro, I'd just like to know what was it working like with Woody Allen?
I had 2 scenes in a Woody Allen film, so that was nothing. But I adore Woody Allen. I think Woody Allen is a genius as far as his work is concerned. I have read his books, I'd seen his films. So when I got in, my agent told me that it's a 2-day work, and would you like to do it? It was a film called You Will Meet a Tall Dark Stranger with Frida Pinto plus playing her father. I said, with my eyes shut, I will come, because to be sitting there. So they said to me that this is how much money they will give you. It was very little money. So I said, no, my fees will be that he has to spend half an hour with me. So when my agent told Woody Allen people that he's saying that he spent half an hour, he almost went into shock, because he's a very private person. But he said, okay, I'll spend half an hour. So when I reached, this is a very interesting thing. When I reached London, my shooting was next day, and I went for my fittings of my clothes and things like that. So I was very eager to meet Mr. Woody Allen. And I told the production designer, I said, can I meet Mr. She said, no, he meets his actors only on the sets. So I said, but I'm doing a film free. In my mind, I'm thinking, what is this nonsense? Why can't I just be there on the sets? I will sit behind there. Nobody, I will not disturb. She said, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Kher. He will meet you tomorrow. So I found out where are they shooting. What road are they shooting in London? So I sort of examined that road. Then I found a restaurant, Bangladeshi restaurant. So I went in. When the moment I went in, everybody said, Dada, Anupam Kher, Dada. So 15, 20 people came to take pictures. So I said, not here. I'm going to stand where the shooting is going on. You all come there. We'll take a picture there. So I reached that place where the shooting was going on. They had cordoned off, 5-6 people watching shooting. Suddenly 40-50 Bangladeshi Indians came, and there was a commotion. Picture, and I taking picture with them. Star, Hindustan ka star ho main. Aisi kya baat hai. So they couldn't shoot because there was conversation. He said, what is happening? He said, some Indian actor is there and they are taking pictures. He said, call him here. So I sat, Woody Allen said, oh, they were not allowing me to meet you today. So I thought, these people are my fans. So I told them that this is what my background is. But when I met him, and I thought how focused he is, how brilliant, that's what the benchmark of, I think, most creative people are, that they are just thinking what they are working on. And then when the time came that he has to spend half an hour with me, both of us were silent because I was just looking at. You see, I have never let my work take over the fan in me. If I'm an admirer of somebody, I'm not Anupam Kher, the actor. I'm an admirer, I'm a fan. That's why when I worked with Dilip Saab also, first half an hour I was, for Karma, first half an hour I was only looking at how his hands are, means in my mind I was going a flashback that how I ran up from the school and watched Gopi, Ram or Sham, etc., etc. So much so that Subhash Ghai said, Anupam, you are looking like his fan and you are the villain in my film, so stop doing that. So after some time, he was polite. I said, sir, you have to talk to me. It's half an hour of time is very important. So he asked me, I believe you've done a lot of films. I said, yeah. He said, how many? I said, 400. He said, in how many lives? So I think everything, like my meeting with him or my meeting with, the very funny meeting with Michael Jackson, these are the people who sort of come once in a while, and it's a great feeling. Even with Ang Lee, I did just 7 days work, but it was a great feeling.
The most serious part is your meeting with Robert De Niro,
yes.
because that was a very parallel role in the film.
Not really, but it was
well,
an
it was a very important role.
Important role, Silver Linings Playbook.
And this is what even I want to know, because last time I met Robert De Niro and I was talking to him about you and the film and all, and we call him Bob. So I said, Bob, though he told me you still call him
I call him Mr. De Niro, yeah.
Why? And he says,
He told me so many times, call me Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't.
I can't.
Oh,
Sanskar वैसे हैं ना.
Anyway, so I was talking to him about, and I said, and he told me an incident. He said we were shooting, and I finally had to ask Anupam to get out of the set, and he got out. But 5 minutes later, he came back, and he was charged, and he said, you know, it's fine. The director has done the scene. You have acted in the scene, but I have a role to play in this film, and you must listen to my idea, and I think it can be done this way. And they did it finally, and he says, I've never known a person talk to me like this, but what he said was absolutely right, and that scene was included. Is that so?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Again, wo grandfather ka blooper na, when you don't want anything from somebody, when you don't expect, you are equal. So I was, the whole incident of that film, how it came to me. I was shooting in a small village come town, kind of chota sa kasba in Rajasthan for a film. And my agent from London said that there's a film being made, Silver Linings Playbook, and you have to audition for a film, for the role. That's an important role. And the film has Robert De Niro and Bradley Cooper, etc. So for me, Robert De Niro is god of acting. Means we have studied his films in drama school, and Godfather, Raging Bull, Awakening, King of Comedy. We have actually analyzed his and worked on that. So I said, my God, this will be fantastic. But she said that the director would like to Skype the audition. He does not want you to send a tape. So I said, Skype? I had never done Skype myself. And in that village, there was no way that anybody had heard Skype. So I called up my Bombay manager. I said, I need to Skype with Mr. David O. Russell. So organize. So in 1 day's time, there was a folklore going on in the village. Everybody was saying, Skype is coming, Skype is coming, Skype is coming, Skype is coming. So finally, they managed to get this computer, etc. And I was on this side of the computer, and there was the whole village sitting on the other side of the computer, behind this. And Mr. David O. Russell came, but there was a technical glitch that we could not hear each other's voice. And David O. Russell was an impatient guy. So he said, he wrote down, he said, why isn't the voice working? So maine bhi likha, you can also answer that question. So he said, next time, be a little more professional. So I said, okay. I wrote, Google search me. So finally I got a mail that, okay, now I'm going to Toronto. So from there, I will send the audition to him. I was in a hotel room of mine. There was a suite. There was a bedroom where I was doing the Skype with him. And there was a Bangladeshi people have played very important role in my international films. So he was making tea for me. He was one of the waiters. He was making it for him. I was Robert De Niro of India. So he was saying, Dada, kya khoob bhalo Dada, hamara pura family aapka fan hai Dada, kamal ka wo comedy kya kiya, ek dialogue sunao na Dada, wo kiya, ye kiya. So again, there was a problem with some sound, and this time he really got very upset, and he said, if by tomorrow morning you do not send me a link, I will stop considering you. So, you know, Indians and Asians, they don't shy away with it. So Dada, he asked me, Dada, kya holo? Why are you depressed? So I told him the whole story, how this audition is messed up and things like that. He said, okay, सोचते हैं मेरे पास iPhone 4 है तो मैं आपका ऑडिशन करता हूँ. मैंने कहा यू? हाँ. So Bangladeshi waiter was my cameraman and director. And I told him, when I do this, that means you say action. When I do this, and you say cut. So he was ready with the, so I did this, he said, action dada. And then when I did the whole scene, and then I did this, he said, cut dada. And I told him, okay, send this link now to this casting director in LA. So he was so smart, or some, whatever, he sent it along with that action dada, cut dada. So the casting director is saying me, what is this dada? I said, so when we reached, we were shot this film in Philadelphia. When we reached Philadelphia, all my scenes were done with Bradley Cooper first, but I am waiting for Robert De Niro, that this is the most important thing of my life. And finally, I had taken also a ruby Ganesha Ganapati for him as a gift, because I was meeting him and I was maha thrilled and okay, so I told the assistant director that I will not meet him on the sets. I would like to meet him in his trailer, in his makeup man first. So he said, okay, we'll try. Finally, with great difficulty, he said, okay, Bob is calling you. Over there, assistants and even the spot boys call the actor by their first name or nicknames. So I went, and he had this huge van, and I went with this Ganapati, Ruby Ganapati, and when I saw him, I had tears in my eyes. Means I was finally meeting this amazing guy. So he got a little awkward. He says, everything okay? I said, no, I'm very moved by my own story. He said, what do you mean? I said, from one small town boy is actually standing in front of Robert De Niro. So I got very impressed with my journey. So he accepted the ruby, and then I took a picture with him. I put it on Twitter, and then he was very friendly and very nice. Now the scene that we were doing that day is a very dramatic scene in the film, where he's angry because Jennifer Lawrence and the son has played, and it's a 11-page scene. I have only 3 dialogues. First dialogue on page 1, then 1 dialogue on page 8, and 1 dialogue on page 10. But I am in the scene with everybody, Chris Tucker and all these people. But he's angry, and my half the face was covered with green paint, and there was S written in over here for eagles, etc. So I was without my shirt, and it was September month. So when I entered, Mr. De Niro was in his element as an actor. He was involved as an actor. So he saw me, and we are rehearsing, and everybody is watching the rehearsal. And I'm thinking, abhi main ek line bolunga to ye log pagal ho jayenge, kahenge kya actor hai. And in my mind I'm thinking all that. Suddenly I hear that Mr. De Niro is saying, David, why the hell will I tolerate this doctor in my house? I was playing the doctor. So I said, kya bol raha hai yaar? So David said, what do you mean? He said, no, he has been responsible for my son's problem today. He created a problem. I will throw him out of the house. Now this is Bob De Niro. You can't argue with him. So David said, okay, let's do the rehearsal. So before I could do my first line, he said, you, whatever gali wali deke, you get out. And he threw me out of the house and bolted the door from inside. Now I am standing half naked with S, and the scene is going on inside because I am out of the scene. And nobody is coming to me with a jacket or a kambal because I have been thrown out by Rob De Niro. So 45 minutes I'm standing outside, and after 45 they open the door and they say, I think it's working. So but David said that I would want to see the scene once again rehearsal, because this character is in the scene according to me for the last 2 years. So I want to see it again. Again he did the rehearsal. Before I could say my line, मैंने सोचा इधर उधर भाग के चला जाऊंगा, but he caught hold of me and he said, you. Again I'm standing outside, I'm thinking 8 times Filmfare Award winner, 7 international awards, 2 national awards, teacher, हिंदुस्तान का चमकता सितारा, थक के खा रहा बाहर. And when I walked in, They said, yeah, it's working. Okay, let's go. Dadaji, I don't have to worry about anything. I don't want to do this film in my mind. Halanki, I had done the scene. So I said, hold on. Now this is just happening. The words are coming out. I'm not planning it. Now people are impatient. We have wasted 1.5 hours, 2 hours. They just want to go ahead because it's time, is money over there. So they are all sitting, and I said, hold on. There are 8 characters in this scene. David, why are we listening to only one person's interpretation? Why didn't you ask me my interpretation of the character? So there was pin drop silence. And I saw the line producer almost fixing my return ticket. That, isko वापस भेजते हैं. He said, what do you mean by? I said, I have an interpretation. My character will tell Mr. De Niro's character, you so and so. It's because of you your son is this like this. I have cured him. So what the hell are you talking about? Now they are too shell-shocked to sort of even react. And I am just, it is happening. My words are just coming out. I said, so, and you said, this is 2 years this my character has been in your mind and in the script. So are you trying to tell me that because it's Mr. De Niro, you are throwing me out of the scene without, what happened to your 2 years of work? Third thing, I have done this film for this scene, I'm not getting out. Oh my God, there was, when I think how I said it, it was, I don't know, kya koi mata vata chad gayi thi. The only thing was that Chris Tucker is the one who did a lot of film with Jackie Chan. That what are those? Rush Hour. He looked at me and he said, and I was ready now. They will pack me up and they will say, you are not, aapke baki scene humne kar liye hain, you can go and relax now. But David said, okay, just let's do the rehearsal. So then this time, Mr. De Niro did not throw me out, but he was same angry, and I quietly sat down and said my 3 lines. But the greatness of the man is that's where I think till now it is my side of the story. Now how it changes. At 2 o'clock in the morning we finished the shooting, and same chief assistant came and he said, Bob is calling you in his van. I said, ab ye mujhe dantenge. And I said, okay. So I went there, he had his back towards me and he said, do you drink vodka? So I thought I will be funny. I said, even poison from your hands will be fine, sir. So he looked back and gave me a dirty look that this was a stupid joke, something like that. And then he turned towards me and he gave me my glass of vodka and he said, I'm sorry, I was selfish. So that kind of greatness you don't easily find. And today I can claim to say that he is one of my good friends, and if I had not done that, he would have not been my friend. I would have been one of the actors that he worked with.
Well, he did mention to me that he has a lot of respect for you, not only as an actor, but as a human being, because I didn't know the details of the scene. He hadn't explained to me, which you have done just now, and he did say that as a human being, I respect him.
I think courage is always respected. You need, I think so. Means I was very happy on his 70th birthday last year. He invited 20 people from all over the place, and I was one of them. And he did not believe that I will go there. So it's nice. It's nice when you speak up your mind without the fear of consequences. You see, I'm not praising myself. The difference between extraordinary and ordinary is that little extra. Your fear is your biggest enemy, I think.
Okay, I think we are running quite out of time.
अभी तो शुरू हुआ यार, मजा आ रहा है.
Okay.
8 minute बाद.
All right. No. Acha, oh,
8
great,
बजे
great.
तक करें.
So, let's now jump to another subject, and that subject is Anupam's new avatar. Anupam has opinions which he strongly believes in. We may agree or not agree, right or wrong, each person to his own, but he has opinion, and you and I have discussed this a lot of times earlier also. Why has Anupam, or let's put it this way, has Anupam become angry, or has Anupam given vent to what he really feels and what he really wants to play the role of in the society or a nation or whatever it is?
No, I personally feel that we are going through a phase where the first time, it's my personal opinion, I'm not necessarily saying that this is the opinion in the world. I just felt in the last 1 year that just because one party came with the full majority, there was suddenly a lot of people who started talking about this intolerance and India being like this, etc., etc. And again, Dadaji ka blooper gaya, that I think we are a great country. We are the most amazing country. I've traveled all over the world. There is no country like India. And I genuinely believe that. And I have met the most successful Indians all over the world, rich, successful, powerful, who are dying to belong to India. So that is our power. And when somebody starts criticizing the country, then I want to stand up and sort of say that you need to shut up. You know, it's very important. And even if it's the lone voice of mine, I will do that. Because I have been brought up in a family where nationalism, or I'm 8 years younger than independent India. You see? So I know what it means to be Sare Jahan Se Acha. My prayer was Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara. I cried when Mr. Pandit Nehru died in '64. I am the one who sort of Janagan Man, to me all this is very important. I like Bharat Mata Ki Jai. I like my country, and after my name it's my nationality in the passport, and I have to talk about my country. Now problem is, if I talk about my country, people want to attribute interpretations to it. So that's perfectly all right with me, whether they want to say that I'm pro Modi ji or pro BJP because my wife, that is their problem to prove it. But I will continue to talk about the greatness of this country because I know what it means to be an Indian, because I'm much older than at least some of you, most of you people are. So I think the pride of being an Indian has to be conveyed, because there are some elements who are sort of constantly giving interpretations to our, अरे क्या हो गया अगर जनगण मन के लिए नहीं खड़े हुए, इट्स माय फंडामेंटल, मैं नहीं हूँ दिल करता. अरे क्यों नहीं खड़े होंगे तुम? आप अमेरिका में कोई फिल्म देख रहे हो या किसी फंक्शन में जा रहे हो, तो वहाँ पर उनके नेशनल एंथम पे खड़े हो सकते हो, मगर अपने नेशनल एंथम पे नहीं खड़ा होना चाहते. हम जी भारत माता की जय नहीं बोलेंगे, क्यों नहीं बोलेंगे भाई? क्या प्रॉब्लम है इसमें? So I am very, very clear about it, what now people want to interpret it into a different manner, that's perfectly all right with me. I will continue doing that because that is what my national pride makes me do that. In fact, I had not thought that I will be talking about this Italy, but ma'am, my next book, which you are hopefully publishing, can you just commit it, please?
Certainly, certainly. Well, I must tell you, his first book also, it just developed out of a conversation. We were just sitting at home one day and we started talking, and I said, this is a good subject for a book. And, you know, because at the best of time, we publishers are like midwives. You know, we just, and we are quite cynical, and the work of a midwife is to move from house to house, deliver the child, cut the cord, dress it up and hand it over to the parents, because she's basically looking for her money and walk out. But once in a while, mind you, once in a while, the midwife also, when she helps deliver a child, looks at it and they says, wow, this is a different child. That is precisely what I felt when Anupam and I were discussing a subject. And I said, this is a subject for a different book. And he wrote One Track Mind with so much of passion that I didn't know that he could be so fast about it. You know, we publishers are cynical to manuscripts coming in. But when it came and we worked and it turned out, and today, look at it. It was released on the 4th of January 2012. and we are now 4.5 years, it's gone into 19 reprints. 19 reprints, number of Indian languages, but more important than that, it has gone into international languages, including Japanese and Korean. What I'm trying to say is that, and even Winfrey Oprah was presented a copy, and she wrote there. She wrote in the book, "What a beautiful title! I believe in it." You know, and both Anupam and I were there to talk to her about it. So only a foolish publisher will say no to Anupam Kher's book.
No, the name of the book is, it was not included in the literary festival में मेरा अपने audio visual बनाया, सिर्फ actor का बनाया, but my title of my book is The Best Thing About You Is You. It's not about acting, it's not about cinema, it's about, I genuinely believe that the best thing about you is you. You have to discover the strength of your personality. According to me, personality means that you are comfortable with who you are. My grandfather was once eating and he was making sound of eating and was doing खाते समय, तो mother said, बाबूजी क्या कर रहे हो आप, आवाज़ कर रहे हो? He said, मुझे तो मज़ा आ रहा है, प्रॉब्लम तुम्हारी है. So I'm and the way Ashok packaged the book, etc. It's a good book. It's a very simple kind of a book with 2 pages about anger, about his failure, what it makes you important if you get a chance. But about all this, what I went through in the last 1 year, why I spoke and why I talked about in Calcutta speech or my JNU speech, I'm putting that in a book, and the book is called, shall I share it with you?
Well, we are announcing the title to all of you today.
Okay, the book is called Not an Accidental Nationalist. I think sometimes you have to be unpopular with few people to be popular with the whole world. To me, those few people means I used to be loving my Twitter people, followers, me. I never got trolled, but since last 1 year, there is a section of people who go about it, but वो है ना एक शेर बड़ा अच्छा कि उम्र भर अपने ही गिरे बाँ से उलझने वाले, तू मुझे मेरे ही साए से डराता क्या है. So I think there is the kind of response that I've got, because I've never got for all the awards that I got as an actor, and I realize how 99.9 to 999% feel the way I feel. When a police officer who was frisking me at the airport and he said, "Sir, मज़ा आ गया sir. अगर मैं वर्दी में ना होता तो आपको गले लगा लेता." Or judges or people who are older people who say that, अरे कोई तो है बोलने के लिए. मैंने कहा नहीं सर, पूरा राष्ट्र है बोलने के लिए, मगर ये जो साले हम कुछ गंदी मछलियों को हमारे देश का समुंदर खराब करने नहीं देंगे. सीधी सी बात है. I think we should ask now to people if they want to ask.
Yeah, I think that's all. We'll throw it open to you, but please ask a question. Don't make any statements. So, are the mics around?
Unless you are praising me, it's okay. Yes,
are
please.
The mics around? Okay, please raise your hand. The young lady out here.
Hello. Good evening, sir. Sir, I want to just first confess you. My mom is the biggest fan of yours. She always watches movies of yours. Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, from Chahat, Dar, Om, Jai Jagdish. She always tells me that the way you act, no one can. And whenever I ask her, let's chalo mere saath movie dekhne chalte hain. Even if I ask my father, they'll not agree. They'll say कि no. आजकल की मूवीज में वो बात नहीं है जो पहले की मूवीज में होती थी. Or the way you act. So my question to you is, what is the thing which Bollywood actors need to have right now in while acting? Because the personality which you people had or you people have, I don't think that they have right now.
You see, I will answer your question if only you first say to me, do you agree with your mother?
At a point, because they
No. Don't be diplomatic about it. Do you agree with your mother or not?
Not actually, but this question.
Then give me your mother's phone number. I'll reply to her.
I rang up.
I am not answering your question. Sorry.
Sir, I'll tell you. I rang up her
नहीं
right
hello
now.
बात करने दो ओए.
I called her up right now.
ऐसा थोड़ा मैंने तो कोई इशारा थोड़ा किया माइक ले ले. बोलने दे. स्वतंत्र राष्ट्र है हमारा. यही तो खुदियत है.
I called her up right now and I told her that I am going to be in a conversation with Anupam Kher ji. So what is your question? Should I ask him? Because I'm a journalism student. So she's always like, अगर तू इनसे मिले ना तो इनसे ये बात पूछना कि क्या होना चाहिए.
थप्पड़ मारेगी जब तुम वो बोलोगे कि not actually. I feel that in any field, not only as an actor, you need to retain the individuality as a person. You need to be yourself. You need to be so open and frank that to be able to say not actually.
Thank you, sir.
So wonderful. That's what you said. Right. But बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो मुझे पसंद करते हैं मेरी जान.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
No. Please give my love to your mother.
Sure.
She's the best.
Sure.
Ashok ji, your new book of Anupam Kher, 1,000 copies from my end. 1,000 copies.
Oh, he wants to buy. Okay. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
गुड इवनिंग अनुपम जी. आप ने एक नेशनलिस्ट की बात की एंड मैं एक फ़ौजी हूँ, खुद फ़ौजी हूँ. आई एम फ्रॉम द मिलिट्री नर्सिंग सर्विसेज एंड आई एम अ लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल.
मुझे आपके बारे में बताया अशोक जी ने और इन्होंने भी.
अच्छा, तो मैं आपसे दो बात. मैंने आपकी वो पुस्तक पढ़ी है, द बेस्ट थिंग अबाउट यू इज़ यू, एंड दैट इंस्टिल्ड अ न्यू कॉन्फिडेंस इन मी.
Wonderful.
That's one thing. Then I saw you at the previous Lit Fest on that intolerance debate, and I congratulate you the way you handled it. I mean, that was another learning thing from me. कि कोई तुम्हें पत्थर मारे या कुछ भी करे, you should stand firm. और आज आपने बोला एक और बात. Not आपका जो नया पुस्तक आ रहा है,
Not an accidental nationalist.
I am something like that.
Yes.
And I appreciate. We should stand for our national anthem. We should stand for our country. And east or west or in the
Yes.
world, India is the best.
Absolutely.
But
I
now,
agree.
सबसे important चीज़ मैं आपको बोलूँगी.
You know the problem क्या है? हमारे देश के 2-3 लोग जो ऐसे हैं वो टेररिस्ट के फ्यूनरल पे मतलब मजाक कराएंगे मगर एक फौजी के फ्यूनरल पे बात नहीं करेंगे. ये ट्रेजेडी है. मगर कोई बात नहीं, आपके जैसे और मेरे जैसे लोग हैं ना, और इतने सारे लोग हैं यहाँ पर.
इस मंच पे दो आई एम नॉट वेल, मैं खड़े होकर के आपको एक ही बात बोलूँगी. एक फौजी का प्रॉमिस होता है. द लास्ट सेंटेंस ऑन अ प्रॉमिसरी नोट इज आई प्रॉमिस टू सर्व माई कंट्री बाय एयर, लैंड एंड सी एज लॉन्ग एज माई सर्विसेज आर रिक्वायर्ड. सो मैं आपसे ये पूछने मांगती हूँ कि ये जो मेंटालिटी आ रही है या जो कंट्रोवर्सीज आ रही हैं, आज हमारे पास बहुत यूथ है इस ऑडियंस में, तो आप उनको कैसे बोलेंगे? क्योंकि फ्रॉम कन्हैया टू एंटी नेशनलिज्म टू टेररिज्म और ग्लोरीफाइंग समबडी लाइक बुरहानी और द थिंग्स विच वी आर गोइंग थ्रू इन द प्रेजेंट डे, व्हाट वुड यू एडवाइज टू दिस यूथ?
No, ma'am. As I said that 99.999% think like you and I. So I don't have to tell them anything. The India's future is great because of its youth today. They are born in आपकी generation, मेरी generation को we had this pre-independence, post-independence complexes, but they are born in absolutely free India. And we don't have to teach them nationalism. It is there in their blood. They may come across as irreverent, but they are very truthful and honest, today's generation. I have great faith in today's generation and I salute them because that is what will make this country great. बाकी 2-3 लोगों के सुनने से प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि जो चैनल्स हैं ना, they don't believe in positive things. आप बुरी बात करेंगे तो सारे लोग आगे जाएंगे, हम अच्छी बातें करेंगे तो कोई सामने नहीं आएगा. So once you understand that, then nothing to worry. I can understand आपका खून खौलता होगा, मगर कोई बात नहीं.
I learn from the youth, and believe me, I appreciate them. There's a lot to learn from them.
My message to them will be that, as for which they clapped already, that your country is your identity. Simple. The more you talk about it with pride, the more you are priding yourself.
Thank you.
Yes.
I would like to ask you 2 questions. One is that you have already excelled a lot in your this career which you are doing already. So would you like to join politics with your wife now after this?
No, not at all. I think I have reached the interval of my life. अब interval के बाद की जो film है वो अब शुरू हुई है. I think I have done 500 films. That was pre-interval. Then I took a break. Now I'm doing. So I think one person in the family is sufficient. I don't want to. The problem is the moment you talk about nation, people think I have political ambitions. No, I can be an individual. I have no such ambitions to join politics. Not because I think politics is not right, but I think as an individual I have much stronger voice than if I am joining any political party. But as they say, कुछ भी हो सकता है. 5-6 साल बाद मुझे अगर लगा तो ये पुलारा प्लीज रिपीट रिवाइंड मत करना, अनुपम खेर ने ऐसा कहा था, अब ऐसा कर रहा है. So I said this also, remember that. What is the second question, ma'am?
And the question another is that we heard the Sarans is again, it's going to be remake. So you will be the cast again for that, or it's going to be somebody else?
It will be suicide if they make it with anybody else.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, sir. Myself, Papia Das. I'm really impressed with what you said. One question about the film industry that is coming to my mind. आजकल movies में आज अभी यहाँ पे बहुत सारा crowd है जो young है. Movies में especially this going partying late, drinking a lot, binge drinking, having drugs and all, उसको बहुत glorify करके दिखाया जाता है. मुझे समझ में नहीं आता कि जब so much crowd is watching that and getting impressed by that, so why this is so? Doesn't the actors have any responsibility towards the society?
Not because I'm defending that. My answer to that is, first of all, I think let's not underestimate our youth that they will get influenced by movies. I don't think so. I don't think so. Number 2, nobody puts a gun on your head to watch a movie. Nobody. You want to go and see it. नंबर 3, हमारे देश में आज से कुछ साल पहले रामायण और महाभारत जब टेलीविज़न सीरियल आता था तो लोग उस टेलीविज़न के ऊपर माला चढ़ाते थे, जूते उतार के देखते थे. राम राज्य तो आ नहीं गया उससे. We have to go through this. We have to go through this. There are so many good things. It's easy to blame films and film people because they are easy target. As an individual, this is a profession. You mean to say the person who works in a bar does not have normal feelings? Is he a bad or she a bad example? No, that's an individual. What actors do apart from their personal characteristics, that is important. Rest is a professional thing. No? Nobody is telling you that you have to see. You stand in a line, you plan, you spend 2,000 rupees, then you stand, and then you watch the first 10 minutes and you start tweeting, bakwas film, barbaad ho jate hain log. So I think I have great confidence in today's youth, and they know what is right for them. And we have all on our young ages done lots of things. है ना मैम, अभी तो आप अभी भी यंग हैं, मगर अभी भी कुछ चीज़ें तो करती होंगी जो आपके पेरेंट्स को अच्छी नहीं लगती होंगी, पर करती हैं ना आप. थैंक यू. यस
सर, माय नेम इज तरुण, और आपका एक प्ले देखा था, मेरा वो मतलब नहीं था, और कई जगह उसमें बहुत कॉमिक सीन्स हैं, कई जगह सीरियस हो जाता है. उसमें गालिब का एक शेर आप पढ़ते हैं जिसमें शुरू होता है तो बहुत कॉमिक है, एंड होते होते यू हैव अ लंप इन योर थ्रोट. आई रिमेंबर इट क्लियरली एंड इट हैज अ वेरी डीप इंप्रेशन ऑन माय माइंड. और आई वाज टोल्ड इन द बिगिनिंग ऑफ दिस इंटरव्यू दैट यू हैव अ वेरी बिजी शेड्यूल, यू केम ओनली फॉर 2 days and now going back for the shooting again. That's tiring, of course, but how consuming is delivering something like that? What does it do to an actor?
If you enjoy something, you never get tired of that. I'm one of those lucky people who is in a profession. I've always wanted to be an actor. अभी अशोक जी और मुझसे शायद आप भी पूछ रहे थे कि आप तंग नहीं आते हो ये लोग फोटो खींचना चाहते हैं, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि टूटना पड़ना मुझ पर थोड़ी देर बाद. बट आई विल से दैट I will be devastated if people stop taking pictures with me. So I think it's my job to do it. My job, and I'm not saying it with any this being modest, my job is actually no different from a carpenter's job. It's very easy for actors to sort of, because we get written about and everybody takes, to take them seriously, ki I went into this main thinking of my thinking that how I should play this role. Are idiot. This is your job. A carpenter does not say that I made this table so well, because he doesn't written about. But yes, I enjoy acting now. Initially, for the last 10, 15, 20 years that I did, I was doing it out of competence. But I feel that if you're competent, it's very difficult to be brilliant. I have enjoyed the worst performances of mine also, because that also has given me something. As far as theatre is concerned, you have no retake. You have to perform, and if I did not do that brilliantly, you will not remember me. So I have to earn that praise from you by delivering a brilliant performance. So that's what it comes to.
Anupam, I have a question to ask, and that is, since we are at a lit fest and it's the world of books, what according to you is the difference between you're writing a book or you're giving a take in for film?
Oh. जब मेरी ये किताब, since we talked about my father, I will tell you another incident. I'll answer your question. जब मेरी किताब ये hit हो गई, my father was unwell, and Ashok ji told me, "अरे book is doing very well." So I told my father, I said, "Dad, 38% marks I used to get. I wrote a book in English. It's doing very well." You know what he said? He says, "Allah मेहरबान तो गधेड़ा पहलवान." I think a writer, a painter, it's a very personal, individual job. Actor's job is always dependent on other people. That's why it's called acting is reacting. Means I will not be able to perform well if I don't have a competent or a good actor with me. It's a collective job. When you are writing, I wrote this book, the best thing about you is you in the lounges of airport, in aircrafts, in the car. I used to write in longhand. मेरे से नहीं कंप्यूटर में लिखा जाता. मैं 4 लाइनें मैसेज लिखना होता है तो मैं काफ़ी टाइम लगता है मुझे. So I think you have to gather yourself for both the things. As an actor, I have to gather myself. That's why when I am doing stage play, I do not eat well because I want to be silent. But as a writer, I can't claim to sort of know it, but I think you need your own space and you can write anything. As an actor, you don't have to. You can stop writing कि मेरा mood नहीं है, ठीक नहीं है. By the way, I have not used 2 words for the last 20 years. One is that I'm bored, and the other is मेरा mood नहीं है. I have deliberately not used this word. I find it difficult. I was very happy that your team edited my book, so that made it easier. But as an actor, books have played a very important role for me. It made my imagination wider. I used to read James Hadley Chase के novels also. उसके सब मैंने 61 किताबें पढ़ी हैं. From Mayapuri to Time magazine I used to read. I still read. I read everything because it makes my imagination, expands my imagination, and it helps me as an actor. We are closing down. Om Namah Shivaya. Abhi karte hain khatam. So basically, I think you need to think that all of you who are sitting here, can do anything in the world, anything, and you can achieve it. You just have to work hard. That's it.
हेलो. हाँ सर, मेरा एक सवाल है. मैं तो सबसे पहले कि 3 अभिनेताओं को बहुत चाहता हूँ. एक है आप, अनुपम खेर, दूसरे नाना पाटेकर, और तीसरे नसरुद्दीन शाह. लेकिन मेरा एक सवाल है कि राष्ट्रवाद पर आपने जो जेएनयू में भी भाषण दिया, बहुत सारी चर्चा करते आप, कि आपकी दृष्टि में राष्ट्रवाद क्या है. मैं तो बाद में किताब में पढ़ूंगा, आपकी किताब मिलने पर मुझे. और दूसरी बात है कि देश में जो घटनाएं घटित हो रही है, जो गुजरात में ऊना में जो घटना घटित हुई, उत्तर प्रदेश में हुई, फिर महाराष्ट्र के 3 विचारवंतों को मारा गया। तो ये जो घटना है, इन घटनाओं के बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
Not that I'm escaping your question, but this question needs a very elaborate and serious answer. And my friend is already saying that it's over. तो आपको मेरी किताब का वेट करना पड़ेगा। बहुत सारी घटनाएं ज़िंदगी में देश में होती हैं, एंड दुखद भी सुखद भी, मगर उसका राष्ट्रवाद से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है। उसका मतलब इस इंटरप्रिटेशंस हैं, इसकी चीज़ें कुछ बाद में खुल कर आती हैं। तो मैं आपके क्वेश्चन को जस्टिफाई नहीं करूँगा जल्दी में आंसर देकर। तो आप आई थिंक 6-7 महीने और रुक जाइए, उस किताब में आपको सब कुछ मिल जाएगा। और आज सारे ही पत्ते आज ही खोल दिए तो किताब कौन पढ़ेगा मेरे दोस्त। सो वन ऑफ माई फेवरेट पोएम्स, इट इज़ आई विल रिसाइट few lines and that is a good finale to this कि लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, हिम्मत करने वालों की हार नहीं होती। नन्ही चींटी जब दाना लेकर चलती है, चढ़ती दीवारों पर 100 बार फिसलती है। मन का विश्वास रगों में साहस भरता है, चढ़कर गिरना गिरकर चढ़ना ना करता है। आखिर उसकी मेहनत बेकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती।
Thank you to all of you, and thank you Anupam for this great evening. We extended it, but thank you so much for this. Just wanted to say, I need to meet Palvi Gupta and Sachin Gupta. If they are somewhere in the audience, they can please come on the stage. Okay, Palvi Gupta and Sachin Gupta. They can please come on to the stage if you are somewhere here.
Thank you. Ashok Chopra, Anupam Kher. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to listen to someone so accomplished as Mr. Anupam Kher. Definitely one of the highlights of this year. With this, we conclude PILF 2016.